welcome to our panel on balancing cannabinoids to reach health goals. My name is Donna Hackett. I've been a patient for almost 10 years now in the state of Rhode Island. In 2007, I had a dual diagnosis of stage 3 Lyme disease and stage 3 breast cancer. And being that I always loved cannabis, I knew that I was going to have it by my side throughout the entire journey. So my son became my grower, and we've had a Canna family journey for the last 10 years, helping patients, trying to educate, and spreading the word about the benefits of medical marijuana. I myself didn't make very quick recovery from my illnesses. I ended up developing many other conditions, and just smoking cannabis alone was not enough to make significant improvements. Thank goodness for the influx of education and different modes and methods that we can consume our cannabis. I have made a great stride in my recovery in the last couple of years. I went from needing help to get out of a chair to, I know, I'm a bit of a show-off, being able to do this.
Wow.
Okay? And that's with Lyme disease, rheumatoid arthritis, and neuropathy. So I picked this panel specifically and my awesome guests because of the fact that we know in order to make optimum improvement in severe chronic health conditions, you need to have a proper balance of cannabinoids. You need to have enough medication. Many patients in Massachusetts are going under-medicated. When I see them at CannaCon doc, and I ask them how many improvements have they made, have they reached their health goals, many haven't because they have not gone outside of their comfort zone. They picked one strain, they heard about on leaf-fly, and they go every week and get that same strain. So they don't understand why they haven't made huge improvements. We're here to shed a little bit of light on the fact that by adding things like tincture and dabs, using a vaporizer, using honey, oil, and there's definitely many, many ways that you can balance out your cannabinoids and actually get to those health goals. First off, I'd like to have Uma introduce herself. Most of you know who she is.
Hi, everybody. Right at the very bottom. I can grab it for you.
Can you guys hear me without a mic?
Here you go, Uma.
Hi everybody, thank you so much for being here at CannaCon, for having this event, and Donna and Ellen for being here today, and most of all, and Michael Cutler's here too. One of the most important things that we're doing, folks, is educating. And education is what's going to change the stigma. And as a healthcare provider that's been trained as a family physician, ACMED, and at Harvard, we never learned about the endocannabinoid system. So I'm a physician, family physician, ACMED, and proud to say I'm a cannabis therapeutic specialist. I am in Native, Massachusetts, and I'm going to pass the phone on, and we'll keep on introducing everybody else. We'll keep going.
Hi, my name is Rob. I've been a medical cannabis payer for about 10 years now. I don't particularly represent anybody, but I represent the home grower. It's a very important part of our program, recreation and medical. It's important to be able to grow your own as an option. This goes hand in hand with what we're talking about with varieties of medicine. And it's very easy to try something or produce it yourself safely at home compared to many other medicines, especially chemical medicines. If you want to experiment with a tincture that you heard about online, you can look up the recipe and make it yourself. If you want to try to grow different strains or try different oils, as long as you follow sound advice and know what you're doing, it's an achievable goal. So yeah, I'd like to talk more about that too, and I'd like to pass it on to your next guest.
Hi, my name is Ellen Taylor Brown, and I'm an educator, an activist, an Air Force veteran, And I want to use all the experiences I've had in this industry and in my life to benefit others. I think that's kind of part of what I think is the meaning of life, is making sure that the experiences you have, you're going to be able to impart that wisdom and then let other people take from it what's valuable to them and grow from it. So that way they can find out, you know, from our trials and tribulations of what we've learned from being in an emerging industry, or from what we learned on being different coasts. Dr. Uma travels to different countries. So with that in mind, we're going to be able to hear a lot of different perspectives, and you're going to be able to take this information and, as an educator, I hope, educate other people. That's really what we want you to be able to do, is teach your friends, teach your family, and then with that, it's going to help to create that so needed paradigm shift to get rid of the stigma of reefer madness and using cannabis like you would use anything else, or using cannabis as a first line of defense as opposed to opiates or other prescriptions. Go to cannabis, go to meditation, go to mindfulness. So I'm very honored to be on this panel with these panelists and talking about this important issue.
I got this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm special. So what the gentleman in the middle forgot to say is that he's also my son and has been my grower for the last 10 years. And he's one of the reasons why I've made all these wonderful health gains and to be able to sit here today and do a standing split.
Just unclip it and hold it to your mouth like a microphone.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So, my son's been an amazing grower, an amazing caregiver who's kept up with all the current trends, and he believes in whole plant. And the reason why I felt this panel to be specifically important to the community is the fact that there's many times my son came home when I was immobilized in pain and tears just streaming down my face, and he said, "Mom, you're under-medicated," and threw at me everything but the kitchen sink of cannabinoids. And I can assure you that sometimes that's what it takes when you have severe debilitating. Don't you find that, Ellen? Ellen makes tinctures and teaches classes on how to make tinctures, and I find that alcohol tincture is one of my rescue meds. I call it a rescue med, and I teach patients about it because of its fastness and its effectiveness.
It's important for everybody to understand that, and Dr. Uma is going to be able to elaborate on this so much more. Each one of us, we're all unique individuals, and like you have your own immune system, your own lymphatic system, you're going to have your own unique endocannabinoid system. And that is, you're going to need different ratios than I'm going to need. Maybe for me, 10 milligrams is a medicinal dose, but for somebody else it might be 50, for somebody else it might be 100, for somebody else it might be 300, and there's nothing right or wrong about that. It's diagnosing yourself and all about self-titration.
And I also think people you really need to listen to your own body and really keep track of it. I mean, which I keep more, it's a hard habit to get into, but you know, a lot of people, a lot of patients especially, get great results at keeping logs and actually keeping this information readily available and actually paying attention to what they're going through, what's working, and what's not. We don't exactly have cannabis doctors at the moment. Some people are going through trials, but at the moment it's very hard to go to your average doctor and ask them, how much CBD should I be taking every day for this illness, or how much THC should I be taking at this moment for this illness, or is it going to affect my other illnesses or put things off? So basically at this point in time, you kind of have to be your own advocate, your own doctor, and really pay attention to your own body and what medicines you're taking, what the reactions are. It's important to do that with everything, of course. But as a caregiver especially, one thing I've been observing, and it's kind of frustrating, especially when you see the amount of work that goes into these medicines, producing these medicines, is people being too scared to take them. Cannabis is a medicine that has almost no overdose, essentially. You know, you pay attention to things, it might be bad or whatever, but if you really need the medicine, do not be afraid to take that medicine. Time and time again, myself and other individuals have put forth a bunch of resources and really the medicine to people to later on find out that they were too afraid to take the dose that they needed, and the end result was obviously passing on. So, you know, if you take medicine, take out how much you need to get the desired effect. If you're not getting that desired effect, don't be afraid to push a little bit further. Obviously take care of yourself along the way, but really don't be afraid to take the medicine. And if somebody has donated a significant amount of medicine to you and you're not going to take it, there's 100 or 1,000 other people that really could use that medicine. And now we do have quite a large network to actually get that medicine to somebody who needs it. Even if it's a medicine you didn't have a good reaction to, there's plenty of other people that could use that medicine to actually save their life.
This is very important because most physicians do not learn about this beautiful system known as the endocannabinoid system. And for you, how many of you have heard about it, first of all? Good. So I describe it in one word. I'm really proud. Give yourselves a hand. Seriously. Because most healthcare providers don't know about this. And what people have to understand, I describe it in one word. Life, a couple of other words. Homeostasis, balance. So I want you to understand that every one of us has this beautiful system and it has evolved over 600 million years from a sea squirt to what we have in humans. So it's nothing new. The analogy is sort of like your nervous system. What we identified is that in 1964, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Raphael Mechoulam first started to work with this beautiful plant in Israel. And they identified THC as, I used to call it the psychoactive component, but what I'm starting to do is to say it's the intoxicating component. Yes, and CBD is the non-intoxicating component. And why people should be asking is that, why am I saying that? Because a lot of people are using CBD. And it's one little cannabinoid, folks. The plant cannabis. What we know is canna means stalk or fiber, and bis means a plant with two sexes. What we now know is that this plant has over 400 different chemicals, over 100 different cannabinoids. So CBD, the intoxicating component, because it does have psychoactive properties. If it calms you down, makes you feel relaxed, I think that's pretty psychoactive, right? What we learned is that in 1988, that we have receptors in our body. The first one, we called it CB1. A few years later, we identified CB2, which is primarily the immune system. It wasn't until 1992, the gentleman that identified these same cannabinoids in 1964 was the same gentleman, Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, that identified the first endocannabinoid. Endo meaning within, cannabinoid, as we said, phytocannabinoids, there's synthetic cannabinoids, and endo. All three of these components work with these receptors. CB1 primarily in the brain, CB2 throughout our body. What we've learned is that any amount of the plants will never has anybody overdosed from a fatality in the world from cannabinoids, from a plant, phytocannabinoids. Endocannabinoids, we just don't produce enough. And synthetics, they're laboratory made, and too much of them will kill you. Okay, we'll talk a little bit today, later. But I want you to understand is that the balance comes from within you. And I never use the word dose, because we still don't have any standardization, folks. So the three rules Dr. Uma always says, is number one, hydrate before you medicate. Because what are the side effects? People get dry mouth, dry throat, they feel anxious, they get panicky, they get nauseous. All the things that it treats, it can cause. That's that balance. Rule number two, you start out low or slow with food. Or very low and slow with food. Because some people get hypoglycemic. What that means is that your blood sugar drops. So rule number three, always journal. Very, very important. Because this is none other than any other medicine. Okay, very important. Journaling. Write down all your medicines that you're starting out with. Because as Rob mentioned, drug interactions. You gotta see how it works for you. And slowly titrate up. But it's about you and it's understanding your own balance and how it works with the different delivery systems.
This is why I love this panel. We all believe in the same thing. Many times as activists we're asked, well, what dose did you use? Well, coming up on as a 10-year breast cancer survivor, stage 3, I tell people I don't. I use the Donna dose because I'm Donna. I don't want you to use the same treatment plan I use because we all have different contributing factors too. When you become chronically ill and your immune system takes a huge hit, there's so many offshoot things that happen to you, viruses, that you have to pretty much always keep ahead of your constantly evolving illness. So you don't know where it's going to be next. So just keeping one mode of ingestion to get your cannabis is never going to be effective. You need to stay ahead of pain. The key to the opioid crisis, and every member up here is strongly adamant that cannabis is the solution to the opioid crisis. I myself have multiple conditions, including neuropathy, Lyme disease, IBS, I could go on, fibromyalgia. I use no prescription drugs, nor have I for 5 years, okay? So 5 years, if I can do that with the level of pain that I live in, anybody can, and that's why we all promote for the use of the cannabinoids to recover from the damage your body did by consuming so many opioids to get through a crisis. Two of the things that I really like to add to a treatment plan is coconut oil. I call it an anchor cannabinoid. It is just a binder. Whatever other cannabinoids you seem to be using seem to actually cling to it, and it's how I became able to go back to work without medicating as frequently as I usually did. I would use very heavy medications at night, dabs, coconut oil, and maybe some RSO as well. And then I wouldn't feel the need to medicate as much during the day. I could do a CBD. There's so many different ways that you can balance it out for your own personal health. That comes from knowledge. I know that every member up on this team wants to see more people turn to cannabis over using any kind of opioid, or especially the heroin epidemic. This is the key to unlocking it. So everyone needs to really support your advocates and your educators and learn more, so you too can become an advocate to help save the future generations and the current ones from dying so meaninglessly. We are survivors, we are healers, and we want to be part of that. And I want everyone on this panel to say, if you had one thing that you could really hope that would change in the cannabis movement in the next year, considering with legalization, a lot of medical marijuana programs are starting to dissolve, what would those wishes be? And go straight down.
Safety first, do no harm. And say it again. Safety first, do no harm. I want to make sure everybody gets safe medicine, and that we test it. We start getting sanitizations done for the way we test it. Because as a physician, I took an oath that said do no harm. But we need to add safety first and education as long as that.
I would say that my personal view would be for everyone to keep their eyes on the prize. We're so close. It's already become normalized in society. Not to our whole society, but for the most part. And we really can't stop this motion now. Remember that cannabis is a community building plant, community building medicine, and really focus on the community aspect, really showing people that, we're doing this for all the right reasons, and just keeping our mind right and keep on moving with this, and especially in the medical field. The medical field has made leaps and bounds, and like I was saying, it's very important to keep the medical aspect around. The recreational aspect just as important. I mean, I was just thinking the most important part of this medicine, which is very overlooked quite often, people just look at it as like proactive aspects of it, or the stereotypical aspects of it, but one of the greatest side effects from this medicine is positivity. Positivity is perhaps one of the best medicines that your body can run on. It's, you know, not just using this plant to help your body, but to give you some hope. You know, what is life without hope? And that's been the greatest, to me, improvement in most people's lives who use this medicine. And take the stigma away from, you know, somebody just smoking away today and so being like, well, this person smoked today, and then how do you develop what they're looking forward to tomorrow? Let's start to focus on that.
So I do a lot of advocacy work, and I've started realizing that my friends and family are sick and tired of hearing of me, like what I have to say. They heard it for years and years and years. And I realized that the people I really need to hear me are my local legislators, the state representatives. That's where my voice needs to be. That's where our voices need to be, with the people making the laws and making the amendments and making the changes. They are the most uneducated group of people that you will ever meet. They do not know the word endocannabinoid system. They don't know a cotyledon from a trichome. They have no idea. They've never grown a plant. They've never smoked it. They've demonized it forever, and now they're being forced to do this. So they're not. And they'll go to states and they'll do R&D, but they see things and then they tell you what they don't like, but they weren't talking to the patients. And a big thing that we need to do is really start educating them. What I really want to see in Massachusetts is so many changes. We have a par medical marijuana program. It's not subpar, but it's par. It's not amazing, let's be honest. I'll show you an amazing program. Go to California. There are programs where you can actually take your excess medicine and sell it to the dispensaries. We were promised, remember, 2012, what did we vote for? We voted for medical marijuana here in the state of Massachusetts. We were supposed to have 35 dispensaries the first year, no more than 5 per county. It's 5 years later, how many do we have? 9. We don't even have 10. It's ridiculous what the patients are being forced to do, how they're paying $300 an ounce. And we voted to not have a mandatory registration, and then all of a sudden, hey, it makes them $50 a person to the Department of Public Health. Why don't we charge the patients? And hey, have we put them on a registration? They don't have to do that for being prescribed opiates. Other states, Maine doesn't have a mandatory registration. There are plenty of states that don't have a mandatory registration. Let's get rid of the mandatory registration, because I feel like that puts a larger stigma on the patients. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can have it, but I want to register because I want to know where you are. Other things they want to change too, amendments they try to pass sneakily in the night. If you're a medical marijuana patient, they want to make it so that because you're a patient, because you're on the registry, a no-knock warrant, they can come into our house and check your grow. Absolutely not, and not on my watch. And that's why we all have to be ever vigilant. Yeah! These people are not our friends. You're my friends. They are my friends. These people are the opposition. And we have to come at them with education. We have to come at them with compassion too, because they are afraid of what they've heard with reefer madness, and we have to quell that crazy paranoia with facts and statistics. And they call it anecdotal evidence, but anecdotal evidence is just as good as anything else because we can prove it. There's no reason that our patients would lie, and I'm there to take care of the patients. I don't care about the Department of Public Health.
So as you can tell, most of us are patients over profits.
Yes.
We all believe that as a community, it's our responsibility to keep fighting for the rights of patients. My son and I live in Rhode Island, and our program has been hacked and axed beyond belief. We have a plant tax, a tag. It's a system that's primarily meant for a large-scale cultivation like in Colorado, and they're pretty much trying out legalization on the backs of Rhode Island patients. It's appalling. I've been testifying at the State House in Rhode Island for almost 10 years. They've heard my sad story over and over again. They know me by name. But it doesn't get us anywhere unless we all unite. We cannot let medical marijuana slip away just because we want legalization. I've lived in Massachusetts most of my adult life. I was born in Hyde Park. I was raised in Sharon. I never felt uncomfortable smoking a joint anywhere. So seeing it attacked so much in all these other states, including Rhode Island, seeing them try to cling to keeping the revenue that they taken unjustly for so many years, it all needs to stop. The only way we do that is by becoming more collective. When they use false news about medical marijuana, oh, this person ate one cookie and died, we need to be there right away to call them out on their bullshit, okay? All of us, we have a responsibility to the people in other states who are dying and can't even get access to medical marijuana. I just heard of a woman in Wisconsin who was driving down the road with, I believe, less than a quarter and a small little dab slip of oil in it. Her children were immediately taken out of the car and taken away into custody. They sat in jail for 3 days. This needs to stop. Everybody here today either loves cannabis or profits from cannabis. So we all need to get our shit together and really push hard to have all medical marijuana patients that want access, safe access in every state to have their right.
What I want you guys to understand is, as a physician, every day we're taught evidence-based medicine. Evidence-based medicine. I want you guys to go away with 5 facts today. Nobody has ever died from this plant in this world. Number 2, the United States of America has a patent number 6630507, October 7, 2003. And they have a patent for cannabinoids as an antioxidant and neuroprotectant. Not that it kills your brain cells, but it saves your brain cells. Fact number 3, it was prescribed. Today, I don't have the liberty to write a prescription for it. I can only write a recommendation because it is in Schedule 1, along with heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. Unacceptable. And people are dying from this plant. And it was prescribed and in the pharmacopoeia from 1850 to 1942. Number 4, cannabis is not for everybody, folks. Yet, it should be a first-line option, not the last resort. Okay? Number 5, cannabis is not an entrance drug. It is an exit drug from pharmaceuticals and narcotics. Okay? I want you guys to take these facts home, share it with your doctors. I always say, reach 1, teach 10. Okay? What I practice is what I call total health care THC. Okay, we need the THC, we need the whole plant. So educate, embrace, and empower. That's how we're going to do it. Speak out loud, because our healthcare providers need this information. And somebody said it so beautifully. Noam Chomsky said, most drugs are FDA approved. Cannabis is people approved. You guys are the ones that we're talking about it. Okay?
To me, it's just cannabis has shown us a whole lot about how our local government works and the way that resources are held on to. It's pretty sad that, especially in a voter-directed environment like marijuana has been, that we actually have to really push this hard and make the government own up to something that we as a people voted for. You know, we live every day in America thinking that this is a democracy. This is how hard we have to fight to get something that we as a people voted for. But if it comes down to throwing a bunch of our tax dollars at something that we have no say in whatsoever, it's no problem. We actually have to stand up and tell the government, no, we're not reversing these changes that we made. There is a reason why we voted for this. It doesn't matter to us how much you profit from it. We need this every day. It's a right of life to us. Just like water and clean air, which also they don't seem to care very much about.
I think it's so important that now, guys, do you realize, like, we're in the middle of a movement. This has been going on for many, many moons before I got here. But this is really starting to come to an apex. This is starting to come to a time where a movement is becoming an industry. And if we don't stand up now, we're not going to have anything to give our children. We're not going to have anything to give our grandchildren. And that's what I want to do. I want to secure the cannabis plant. I want to secure the hemp plant. I want to make sure everybody has it and that it just has free roam, growing everywhere that it's needed. That's what that plant is for. What's amazing about the cannabis plant is that it's indigenous on every single continent. So every single person should be able to grow at least some strain of it. And then the different strains we haven't even found yet strains that we could crossbreed together, and then being able to get the cannabinoids, the terpenes, those unique strains that could save a life, and that's really what it's about. I enjoy being an educator. I enjoy being an educator because it brings a lot of meaning to my life. I love getting texts or emails from students that are like, hey, with your class I was able to like host a cannabis-friendly dinner, or I was able to teach somebody else. That's really rewarding. But what makes all the difference in the world to me is every now and again I get a picture of somebody in a hospital bed, somebody, it's palliative care, and somebody says, hey, that hard candies class, I was able to give somebody who was dying and they were in a lot of pain, and it really, really helped them. And that's why I keep doing what I'm doing. It's for the people that, you know, they're not me, and they're not able to just go and easily access that cannabis, or they're not as loud and proud as I am. So it's important to be able to be the advocates for them and let them know that there are avenues where they can go and they can receive the medicine they need. And we should be in a state, and we are in a state where we can give to anybody over the age of 21 and make sure they can get what they need. But what about the pediatric patients? Can't forget them. So with legalization coming here, it's like, yes, it's a win for the adults, but we still need a medical program for the children. And not for nothing, what a sad state of affairs. Nevada, Massachusetts, Maine, a few other states passed legalization the same day, right? I'm not crazy, it happened the same day. And what happened in Nevada earlier this week? They opened their first brick and mortar legal shop. Where's ours? 2, 3 years down the line. You never know when it's going to happen here in Massachusetts. And what they're doing is they're taking an industry away from you because they want to exact their pound of flesh in profit. They want to figure out how they can marginalize every single thing so they can have their grubby little mitts all over it. And they don't want it to be for the average entrepreneur, which is who I'm advocating for. You should be able to start your own tincture business if you're doing what you're doing, you're growing it organically, you're getting it tested, you have beautiful packaging, absolutely. The Healing Rose Company is a self-starting company, and you should go check them out. They have CBD oil, and they are able to give topicals to people. Whenever somebody needs topical, I go to them. You need a doctor, go to Dr. Uma. We're a network that's going to be growing our fellow entrepreneurs. So where do you want to be in this industry, and how can you help move somebody else forward?
Yeah, Ellen. So being a caregiver and being in the industry has its ups, like events like this, and it also has its downs. There's not one person out here who hasn't lost a patient that was near and dear to their heart. We see a lot of loss, we see a lot of struggle. It takes a toll. The reason why we keep doing it is because we also see a lot of light. And thank goodness, with cannabis, the light outweighs the darkness. So many patients, even if it is their end-of-life journey, they use cannabis to ease the pain, the suffering, and to have a better state of mind as they embark on that final journey. I've had many patients who edible their way to the pearly gates. So has everyone up here. My son Robert was only 22 when he took on a stage 4 cancer patient who was terminal. And he said to him, why do you want to help me out? He's like, I'm dying. He's like, you're going to be stuck around dying, guy. It's like, because you want to grow, you want to use this medicine, and I want to help you in any way I can. My mom had cancer, so I want to help you. My son went and took care of his garden when he couldn't take care of his garden, always made sure his pH was balanced, supplied him with medicine in between his grows. The man was an arborist, so one of the things that helped, and his friendship with my son, kept him going for much longer than he was supposed to. He had a year, he made it 3.5, okay? And it was the friendship in those plants that he had to check on every day. Every person on this panel does not want the cottage industry of cannabis to disappear. We do not want bear. I don't want someone to tell 10 people with fibromyalgia this one singular patch is going to be the one and only answer. Because I have fibro, I can tell you bullshit, okay? That is not how it works, all right? These people aren't going to tell us how to use cannabis because we know how it works. We're the ones on the grassroots taking care of dying people, taking care of people with such pain you can't even understand how they're hanging on. We're taking care of people who are stuck in a chair with MS. To see these people have even some hope or to have some progress in their conditions is the driving force for all of us. Okay, and we need to all stick together to protect those people because they don't want mass-produced cannabis. I have no problem with the biggest gardens in the world. I love walking in them, they're awesome, okay? But there's always gotta be room for boutique strain growers, for people to perfect their craft. Some of the people are more natural at it than others, and those are the people that have been working through the community for the last 10 years I know of, and they deserve their spot. Don't you agree, Dr.?
Absolutely. When I started here, thanks, Don, we started a patient caregiver support group meeting. When I started to write recommendations, Ellen brought up how many dispensaries are here. We had no dispensaries. I wrote recommendations and I had no idea where my patients were going to get their medicine. And I remember getting this call. Dr. Lee, you need to hear this phone call. The person said to me, they went on Craigslist, got a phone number, met somebody in a parking lot, they held a gun up to their head, gave them medicine and said, I'll see you next week. And that scared the living cahootsies out of me. And we started this, and in fact, we do them every month at the BFW. The next one is on July 17th from 7 to 9 p.m. and they post it on Facebook. We open it up to the public. We call it a patient caregiver support group to support caregivers because it's not just about the caregivers taking care of the patients, but also people that are growing good medicine and good products, and they're tested and it's safe, and we want to support that as well. What I want you to understand is the word stigma. We kept hearing this repeatedly today. I want to define it for you, and you'll keep hearing me say this. Stigma is a set of negative or unfair beliefs that a group or society has against something. And that something that we're talking about is cannabis, folks. Okay? So we need to get the right information out. Please understand that each of us are playing a role in it. There's different ways of getting it into you. Understand that it's about you. Safety. Use your common sense. I want us to talk about drug impairment a little bit because a lot of people are concerned about people driving on this medicine. Please understand, I said safety first, do no harm. If you take a Benadryl and you're not in a condition to drive, you would not drive. Some people, if they did not use this medicine, could not get in a car and drive or have a function of life. So I want you to understand it's very important. So impairment, not just drug testing. Okay, it's very, very important, and I want to fight for making sure that we get this medicine out of Schedule 1, folks. We need it deschedulized and out of Schedule 1. I can't make this understood clearly enough. All of this HIPAA stuff is not being applied. Your personal information is not being protected because cannabis is in Schedule 1. There is no reason for a cannabis patient to have to register themselves or to go to a dispensary and people behind them to know what their diagnosis and condition is. There is no reason for this to happen with any other medicine, and we're allowing this to happen with this plan. Okay, I'm one individual. I'm proud to say I, Dr. Umatalabalan, has not written an opioid in over 8 years. I'm not killing nobody, and the people that die on my card, I let them die with dignity. And that's why I call it the exit drug. And I'll be speaking at 5 o'clock today, folks, so stick around.
Does anybody have a question? There's like 15 minutes left, and if anybody in the audience has a question for Ellen Brown, or Dr. Uma, or Robert, my son, the grower, please feel free. No?
I'd like to add to that. Yeah, we're going to add to that. Who did it? You know, if you want to put on the road.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in something Dr. Uma was saying. You know, these doctors, we obviously have respect for doctors, but realistically, you know, they know what they've been doing this whole time with opioids. You can't be a physician and not know that you can get people doping pills. You know what you've been doing this whole time, and now, you know, we need to show them that it's okay to prescribe other medicines. You know, they've been really pushed on these medicines, and the pharmaceutical companies themselves, can't blame 100% on doctors, but the pharmaceutical companies in general have taken a very hard-edged capitalist idea of care for people. They're creating customers, and they want to create long-term customers. You know, you treat this with this, and then when you have a problem with this, we're going to give you some of this. So, that being said, now it's been up to a public awareness. We're up here and saying, no, we want this to stop. too bad. We don't care about your profits. We're losing all of our family members and friends to this. Also, to add something that Donna was saying about big marijuana. You know, it come to my attention a few years ago that like the age that we live in right now, I consider the age of consumership. We live in a consumer society, so these large companies really look at all this data and they look at us like a bag of cash, not really caring where our future goes as long as they keep on receiving cash from us. We talk about these big companies reaching in, consumer beware. Don't buy products from companies that in the past have contributed millions of dollars to anti-marijuana legislation. Now finally they see the carrot on the end of the stick and it's a whole different story. They want to turn it around and make billions of dollars off of us when they've been keeping us down and throwing us in prison and treating us like trash for generations now. Talk about, she just mentioned Bayer. Bayer is the company that created heroin and originally spread it throughout our country. Don't buy marijuana from them, don't buy marijuana products from them, and don't buy fertilizer from them. Don't buy fertilizers and marijuana products created by Monsanto or Philip Morris. Look at these companies like Philip Morris that pay millions of dollars to bury actual scientific evidence of their products killing people. And spend millions of dollars in legislature keeping our medicine under wraps or illegal and putting all our brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers in jail and treating us like dirtbags. So that's why I just want to say, like, buyer beware, take that extra second to see where your products are coming or where your medicine is from, because at this point in age, it's not just Democrat, Republican, whatever your political beliefs are, it's where you're spending your money and how you're spending your money and what you're consuming is your greatest power in today's society. So, don't buy marijuana produced by Philip Morris.
Ellen, and then we have a question.
What I'd like to really touch on is that each and every one of you have a place here in this cannabis industry. Whether or not you are the grower, the extractor, the edibles maker, the packager, there's a place for you. I found my place to be education. You guys have some pamphlets in front of you for Muffins Apothecary. She is here and she teaches classes and she also makes cannabis-infused tinctures and helps patients. We have Dr. Green Thumb, Paul Brennan, better known, and he teaches cannabis classes as well. And a lot of the companies here, there's Be Delightful, there's the Homegrown, the Homegrown Natural Wonders. There are a few different companies, the New England Veterans Alliance. Go talk to every single group and see, like, hey, how did they get started? You're going to find that all of them are self-starters. The people that started the company, 9 times out of 10, are going to be the people working those booths. So talk to them. See, like, hey, what were your trials? What were your tribulations? What state are you in? Because you're going to find a lot of people have come from different states. We have Seattle, we have New York, we have all over the country, all over the world, people are here. So, hey, what are your laws? What are your legislations? And as laws and legislations get put in, make sure that they're good for everybody, not just the 1%, not just the people that can afford it. A big problem we have with dispensaries here in Massachusetts is cut out the little guy immediately with the staggering entrance fees, and you need an investor, and you need this much square footage, and you need to have this much down payment. It made it crippling. I could start a dispensary with the amount of knowledge I know. I've managed dispensaries coast to coast. I can do this, but I don't have the capital to do it. And by the time I have to get all these investors, I've already sold my soul because it's no longer my company. I have 5% of what it is I started. And that's shameful. And we need to always work with our local caregivers, our local legislation, so that way I can smoke something that Paul Brennan grew, I can smoke something that Rob grew, and we can all share it with each other, because that's what medicine is for. Tommy Chong has this awesome joke where he's like, cannabis is the only thing that you smoke and immediately you want to pass it to somebody else. Share it. That's how we build our community. I really want to share with all of you, and then I want you to share with all of me. And like Dr. Uma says, I always said each one teach one, and then I heard her each one teach 10. I was like, yeah, I can talk to 10 people. So challenge yourself today to please bring up some of the beautiful facts that you've heard today, especially all the great ones Dr. Uma said. And at the kitchen table, make sure to make that the prominent point of conversation. I know the holidays seem far away, but November and December are almost here. And right when the dinners get started during Thanksgiving or whatever the holidays are for you, start that conversation. You gotta go a whole meal. People will bring it up. It'll be fun, it'll be awkward, it'll be a great time.
Bravo to the panelists. That's why I love these guys, and I knew they'd say yes. Well, he had to. He's my kid. But We all believe in the same values. Ellen always says, oh, you were talking to this lady about hashtag #CannaFamily? That's Donna Hackett.
Donna Hackett.
I have said that since day one when the King of Pop called me a CannaFamily, because when I speak at the Freedom Rally, I always have my 2 children by my side, because they are the reason why I survived all these illnesses, which tried to take my life, okay? So it has been a CannaFamily journey, and my family has expanded. These are my Canna sisters, and we're very tight. God help the state senator that had to deal with the 3 of us in the same room, I can assure you. So we all just want to thank you very much for coming. I'm going to give the floor over here to a question.
Sherry, you already answered my question. I was going to ask about, like, how do we fight the stigma? You talked about being negative, stigma being a negative thing. You know, your son, he always said you got to fight negativity with positivity. That's how we do it. So that's my question.
So wear your pop shirts, okay? This is very important. Grab some from your local vendors today. This is Green Leaf Magazine, which my story has been in, and I love the company and I love the people in it. They're the heart and soul of our East Coast community, and sometimes West Coast too. They do the Emerald Cup. But I wear this to like Cumberland Farms in Stoughton when I go to CannaCare dogs. I start conversations. We all do. Anybody can do that. You start conversations. When someone says, I'm seriously ill and I can't get better, have you tried cannabis? And if it works, please come speak out. Social media, we're all on social media. So I'll bring the mic right over to you. Thank you for your question.
Hello, I have something that I'd like to share, which is that my mother, I had an alcoholic uncle, and my mother was the founder of an organization in my home community, which is a resort community. She founded an organization that was like beer, and my father used to go to a place on Thursday nights, which was a tennis club, and a friend of his had me introduced to somebody who I didn't know, the friend of my father said, so what's your opinion of marijuana? And I said, it's a dangerous gateway drug. It leads to destruction. And so he then asked the person who hadn't been introduced to me yet, but he thought of it, and he said that he thought that it was an effort by the law enforcement community to obtain more opportunities for themselves at the detriment of society in general. And so I asked, well, what does his opinion matter? And then the person who I knew already said, now is the time to introduce yourself. And he said, my name is Vince Carver. I'm entrance. I was the director of the Bureau of Narcotics and Addictions drugs under Benjamin Johnson. And so I suddenly became much more open to the possibility that the situation was wrong. What can you do in terms of if the varieties currently available are too strong and you can't get a wide selection, including lower potency varieties?
Grow your own. Well, that's my first instinct. But I would do a little research on CBDs. If you have a strain that is too potent, you can easily calm it down a bit by doing a nice CBD oil or vaporizing the CBD. Also, try hybrids and mixing your strains. If one's too strong and one's too weak, then mix it. I find that if you smoke the same thing too much, you get plant lock. You pretty much cannot observe that cannabinoid to the fullest of its potential. So it's nice to switch things around. Are you in the Boston area? Because there's 11 dispensaries, so I suggest you try other ones if you're not getting the strains, or the education as well. And we're all on Facebook and online. You can always ask for suggestions. We're always willing to help patients.
Oh, you gotta go up.
And I don't know how we'd be able to get her to talk to the doctor. Patients are afraid that they're automatically put as a drug addict in the lab. So how would you tell me to tell her the best way to talk to the doctor and not feel like she's doing something wrong?
gotta give her the thing.
One of these advocates.
So her question was, what do you do if you have a family member? She has a family member that she knows cannabis would be beneficial for, but because of the stigma, the person refuses to try it and the cycle continues. With that, it's just education, love, and I warn family members down with education because they're hearing it and it's becoming more so in the media, and they're doing more studies. And then we have beautiful things like Dr. Uma does a patient support group, and the New England Veterans Alliance does a monthly support group. And I'd bring her to one of Dr. Uma's meetings. I'm going to pass this over to her so she can tell you all about it. That's the best place to start, is going to one of her meetings.
What I'm realizing, the seniors are the largest population, so, you know, I'm seeing generations brought together. Here's a typical example of Donna with her son here, and our children are teaching them. There's lots of videos, even if you Google Dr. Uma and cannabis, and there's lots, I mean, there's some, get them to get talking about it, and you'll be surprised. Try different methods, you know? A lot of people will come in and say, I don't want to smoke it, I don't want to be high. I'm like, okay, don't fight them. Say there's different methods, try with maybe a topical, so that the fear factors are removed, and again, that damn stigma. It's got to be changed, and I always say that stigma in that I always write the word stigma and I put the I small, because each of us, I, are contributing to it. So get her involved in what you're doing right now, get her the information.
I like to say, just like, if possible, we have a very large, you know, community-based group here now, especially with the internet, it's easy to reach out to people. The best people to, the best person to find that could possibly help her out is to find someone else who's gone through the same thing and has benefited from it and has survived. Just like anything, like someone who's going through addiction or someone who's saved POW from war, the best person to communicate with them, the best example is somebody who has gone through what they've gone through and is there to show them, look, this is how I got through this. This is real. This is not some story you're just reading. This is me here now, and you can do it too.
And, you know, that's the thing. We do these monthly patient care support groups, and we open it up to everybody. And that's really important because you'd be surprised. Your neighbor needs it just as much as you do, folks. And I really want to see this change because at the end of the day, just because you're diabetic in Massachusetts doesn't mean that when you go to another state, your diabetes goes away. So this has to change so that everybody can have their medicine from every state available to them. So please start talking about it.
Here in Massachusetts, just so you guys know, the medical marijuana program is overseen by the Department of Public Health. Start reaching out to them, start getting active with them, let Jason Lewis know who you are, let them know who you are. I call them just to let them know I don't like the job they're doing. I call them to tell them I want changes. I send them an email, and then I wait months, I don't get an email. I call them to let them know I'm still waiting for that email. I'm gonna Andy Dufresne this. Like, I'm gonna call them every single day until I get a change. Right now in Massachusetts, for our legal program, we have the Joint Committee, and they're not doing a good job either. So those are the two organizations in Massachusetts I want you to really be on top of, and I want you to scrutinize every single thing they do. I promise you that their intentions are for how do we make this profitable for the DPH? How do we make this profitable for the Joint Committee? How do we make this profitable for this margin up here? They're not thinking about me, they're not thinking about you, and I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking about our community and how I want all of us to grow together, because this is a place where we can all grow together in this emerging industry, and we can't let them take that away from us. Stay vigilant and stay united.
So we're going to be wrapping things up. I really appreciate all of you coming to our panel, and I hope we enlightened you a little bit. And all of us are accessible on Facebook if you need to reach out for any reason. I'm going to let the panelists all say their goodbyes, and I thank you very much for coming and listening to us.
Thank you everybody for being here today. I just want to mention, there is a thing known as the endocannabinoid deficiency that I didn't mention. So nobody has a Tylenol deficiency, an Adderall deficiency, or a Xanax deficiency, but you do have a cannabinoid deficiency. And you want to let your doctors know. They don't know about the endocannabinoid system. There's this thing known as the World Wide Web, folks. And you can go to this thing called PubMed, P-U-B-M-E-D. and there's lots of research that's been done in the United States and all over the world. So go to this information and let them know that this information is out there. And my website is totalhealthcarethc.com. Thank you, everybody.
I like this just by saying, you know, talking about unlocking cannabis as true potential of spreading positivity. I like everybody to leave here today thinking about how cannabis can make them a more grateful person. You look at what we've created here today and really be grateful for it. People in the past, especially the past few generations, have really been persecuted hard and have worked really, really hard to get to this point. I always tell people that are just getting into this now, be grateful for everything that's there for you. Everyone before you had to try a lot harder to get these things, all these products, all the knowledge. I mean, just even 10 years ago, we didn't even think this thing was possible. We really dreamed it was, but really take advantage of all the new technology and the systems that have been put in place. Take advantage of it and put it to good use. It's like cannabis creates a more grateful sense of mind. A lot of the systems working against us are fear-based systems. You know, somebody's going to do anything you want when they think it's the end of the world. Cannabis gives you that breath of fresh air in between pain. Saying, oh no, there is a tomorrow. You know, there is a better way to do things. And we need to just keep using this to figure out the better ways and more positive and progressive ways to do things in our society and to help each other out. You know, it's there to show us that we can help each other out and we should be helping each other out. And that's pretty much all I'd like to say. Thank you very much.
My name is Ellen Taylor Brown. You can find me at Sensomia Seminars, on our website, social media. I work very closely with the New England Veterans Alliance. We have booth 104, I'll be over there. I guess if I could give anybody parting words, it would be rage. This is the time. This is the time to be vocal. This is the time to have your voice heard. I'm not messing around. I'm not here to play games. I'm here to get things done, and I'm here to ask for your help. Please, I need your help. We need your help. We can't do it alone. We need to be a united front. We need to have all the same goals in mind. Every single state should have reciprocity, yes? Every single state should have a functioning caregiver program. Maine has one of the best caregiver programs in our country, and we have one of the worst. It is reprehensible that other states are thriving, and we're sitting here just stuck under the thumb of the DPH and the Joint Committee. It turns my stomach, and it makes it hard to sleep at night. But you know what? I get through it. I get through it knowing that when I go to the State House, unfortunately, I'm not going to be surprised by a lot of new faces. I keep seeing the same faces, and I want new faces there. We're going to welcome you in with open arms. Anybody who wants to sit at the State House, she'll tell you, it's all our friends, man. You're going there. We're going to sit there for 9 hours to do 3 minutes of testimony, and I would sit there for 72 hours. It meant that my 3 minutes of testimony got heard by those people that are important, those people that are going to go behind closed doors and make those decisions. Those are the people that we need to be reaching and we need to be talking to. If you can't make it, I understand, but please take the time to call your state representative, take the time to send an email, take the time to be vocal, share it on social media. This is the time where we all need to be making sure that these changes happen so we have an industry to keep going, keep growing. Like I said, Nevada just opened up the doors for legalization to start the industry there. We're going to be years behind them, and it's not fair, and it's not right, and I will not rest until it's fixed.
All right, people, thank you very much for wrapping this up. I really appreciate you giving us your time. Have an awesome rest of your weekend, and be well.
I'm speaking at 5 o'clock.
Room is on at 5. Don't miss her.
That's okay, I can.
Let's get a picture of all of us together.
Oh my god, we need one!
Yes, let's do a picture. Then we'll leave and then we'll go.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys.